LegacyMaker, the all sports network.
This is it. This is for all the chips. Work for championships. No, it gets no better than this. Just sit and relax a bit. We're talking the pass and blitz. We're talking the jump and switch. We're talking the pitch and miss. Clean space, kick space. You come to the right place. Beat bait. I don't need to see other shows. I'm straight. Cause they not impressing me. I tune into Legacy. Legacy. Fourth and goal and on the road. Legacy. Down 3 seconds to go. Legacy. 2 out, bases loaded. Legacy. It's not a mystery, you're tuning to Legacy. Check the flag on the final lap. Legacy. 12th round, who gets in the match? Legacy. You want a legacy? You build a legacy. Broadcasting live right now so the whole world can see.
Now, the LegacyMaker Sports Podcast.
Welcome, everybody. We about to get this bad boy started.
Here are your hosts, Darrell, Owens, and Jay Quimby.
You broke it.
welcome, everybody, to episode 289 here of the LegacyMaker Sports Podcast here on the LegacyMaker Sports Network. And, of course, with you, as always, myself and the man, myth, and let me turn this way. And the man, myth, and the absolute legend, Mr. Jeremiah Quimby. What's up, sir? How you doing today?
I'm here. I want snow.
I only want snow if, and this is the key part. I only want snow if it's gonna keep me from going to work tomorrow. And if it's gonna show up, I need you to show up. Snow, don't play games with me.
Oh, look at that! Cody did the updates, bro.
Oh, look at that!
I'm in third place. I'm one game out behind Lamont and Russ.
Look at Russ making a comeback. Oh,
Darrell, you're second to last, bro.
I kind of figured I was having a really rough go. I had like 4 or 5 weeks where it just didn't go my way.
I had a couple weeks where it didn't go my way, but I
had a lot of weeks. I had a lot of weeks where things just didn't go into fruition. It was a bad deal.
Poor Victor's down at the bottom because he keeps picking them Lions.
God, oh my goodness, that's funny.
I actually picked the Lions this week.
Well, I didn't pick the Lions this week. Anyway, everybody, once again, thank you all for tuning in, and we're glad to have you all here for another edition of the LegacyMaker Sports Podcast. This week we got a couple of good things to get into, and then we're going to give you our predictions, and of course we got cash and trash and all that stuff, but we got a couple of top stories that we have to talk about before we get rolling. And the first one that we want to talk about, and it's kind of a tough one to talk about, but since the last time we've had a show, we've lost a couple of legends in the football world. And one of those legends was John Madden, and the other one was Dan Reeves. So we lost 2 amazing, football minds, and just two. Let's be honest with you, 2 pioneers in the world of football. I mean, we can go on and on what Madden has done. Dan Reeves went to 9 Super Bowls as a player and as a coach. So, Jay, just want to talk about these 2 guys and what they meant to you, what they meant to the sports world in general.
Well, John Madden is basically the reason there was able to become a channel known as SportsCenter. He took commentating and turned it and put his own knowledge into it to help the regular day watcher understand what was actually going on. There was more than just dropping back, throwing the ball and letting it run, because he showed where if you won in the trenches, that's where the game really starts, is right there. And, him along with Pat Summerall, that voice, you knew that voice. You could be 3 rooms away and hear that come on the TV and you knew it was football time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Madden and Summerall were my favorite commentary team. Growing up, and Summerall is definitely one of my, I don't want to say idols, but people that I look up to in that field. I mean, his voice was so wonderful, but him and Madden together, the calm and the cool with the with the Madden style, and the guy who invented the he was the one that did the telestrator.
Tony Romo is making $30 million a year because of what Madden did.
Exactly. Don't ever forget Tony. Don't ever forget. I mean, but John Madden, we can go video games. A lot of people, don't realize. I mean, he is such an important part of so many people's childhood based off of video games alone. And it's crazy because someone brought this up. I know you watched the All Madden documentary. I believe you watched the All Madden documentary. The one thing that got me was, and it made such a valid point in his career over the time frame, like through like 3 or 4 different generations, he affected in different ways. He was he was a great offensive lineman in the league. He coached for 10 years, won a Super Bowl, one of the best coaches in the AFL/NFL at the time. And then he goes in the commentary world.
One of the guys that really perfected scouting,
right?
Because he knew the type of player he wanted. I mean, just Art Shell became the first ever African-American head coach in the NFL. And he was drafted by Madden. Madden saw potential all the way across the board. He was pulling people from, Grambling State and stuff like that. And you got this retard professor in Texas, and I pray to God that you hear this. Oh, you're not retarded. You're retarded. I can't say the re.
Retard. It's this guy.
Let me, I retract it.
You're a
stupid motherfucker.
Cajun.
You're a stupid motherfucker. Because to say that Madden enslaved them and all this, these young men make more money than people like us will ever see in our lifetime in one check.
One check.
And they're very, very, very well paid. What'd you say? Servant and indentured servants.
Yeah. I mean, look, my thing is, I mean, calling them slaves is kind of a tough thing. And I've heard some players use it, that it's a and whatever per se slave mentality. But if you're getting paid the amount of money you're getting paid, are you really a slave? Because technically you could leave at any time. No one's holding you back. That's the difference. That's why I don't like to use it. It could be a slave mentality and you owner dictate everything. Okay, that's more of a dictatorship in my opinion than a slave mentality. But that's just me though. That's just me.
I mean,
that's just me. If you want to think on that term, then that's just me. But
I believe that Kaepernick was one of the first people to say that he was, being used as a slave.
I mean, you got 4 million. You had 4 years, 120 million. I can't remember how much money he made. Yeah. Don't use. I don't like the comparison because being a slave is a completely different dream than what they're saying. That's why I say indentured service probably the more proper term.
But I understand everybody is allowed to have their own opinion, but sometimes you should need to sit back and reflect on your opinion before you sound like you're a dumbass. Especially if you're teaching the youth of America as a professor. I ain't sending my kid to your school.
Some people just say whatever. But with that being said, Madden was just huge. And I mean, imagine a life persona from commercials. He did it all, throughout his career. The only color commentary or commentary to ever be on all 4 NFL networks. I mean, that tells you people were begging for Madden, trying to get him to sway over, and his voice is larger than life. And we lost a complete season legend in John Madden.
Oh yeah, and he was just as humble person on screen as he was in real life. He wasn't, I love waking up when I was in high school watching SportsCenter and hearing, Berman and Stuart Scott. But then you see the antics that Chris Berman did off screen. You lose a lot of respect for him.
Berman, wow, bro.
Like throwing stuff at interns. What are you doing? I said turn that damn fan off. Man, you said it worse than that, bro.
Yeah, it was a little bit worse than that. But yeah, he was wild, man. Like I still can't get over how crazy it was during that. I mean, guys like Madden just changed the game for that, and God rest his soul.
Boom, move him here. Boom, you get this, and boom, he's gone.
Turn to the left side. Do a flipper ramper. It was
Madden
amazing.
11, they got Chris Collinsworth in there with him, and it's like he's got get away from the cop speed. That is still the worst / best one I've ever heard.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, low key. I mean, some people was calling it racist at the time, but I mean, like anybody can run away from the cops. I mean, that don't mean nothing. I've seen a lot of white gentlemen with wrangly hair running through backyards on cops. So don't you ever say that it was a race thing, because I've seen it from both ends of the spectrum.
But the long dangly white hair guy is the one that tried to hide under the fucking kiddie pools in the backyard. Like they won't think to look here.
They're legends. Like no one will ever find me under this kiddie pool and the shoes hanging out. Oh man. But and also, like I said, we lost Dan Reeves. Dan Reeves is probably one of the those coaches that like a lot don't get as much love as I think they deserve. To make it to as many Super Bowls as he did as a player and a coach. He took an Atlanta Falcons team that no expected. They had 12 that year, and they made it to the Super Bowl. Right, and they made it to the Super Bowl. And yes, he had John Elway those years he went. But if you look besides John Elway, there wasn't a lot left on those teams. But they still made it. And, he was just a great coach.
McCaffrey is a very, very underrated player.
That's true. That's true though. That's true too. And they just had really good teams along that time frame. And Dan Reeves is just one of those guys that just reminds you of your childhood. And we've talked about that recently. Like it feels like lately your childhood slowly just sliding out the door. But he was one of those guys that was one of those people you remember hardcore from your childhood. So rest easy to Dan Reeves as well. And of course, we're not even going before we move on. Betty White. Good God Almighty! Oh man, Betty White. We were this close. I mean, it's crazy because 3 weeks away, everybody was getting prepped for the 100. And
I'm gonna get all sad and start crying.
We're not gonna talk long about it, but it's crazy though.
Let's put it in perspective this way, okay? When you're 99 years old and your legacy is the fact they think you were still taken too soon in life,
right?
That tells you that you were not only a hell of a human being, you was a legend. I mean,
exactly, and it's crazy, but you know what it was. I mean, and before we move on, you know what it was. Everybody for the last 5 years, maybe even 10, when they noticed she was getting close, everybody was like, "Look." We gotta get her. It was like it wasn't nobody had any ill will. Everybody's like, we got to get her to 100. That is our goal. And then the legend that is 2021 said, I got something for
Hold
you.
my beer.
I've got something for you, sir. But God rest her soul, because she was just one of those people. She's another one of those people that brought everyone together. So
I remember the Golden Girls.
Yeah,
we lost the first 3 Golden Girls in I believe 2008,
like the early
2009,
and
10.
Right,
they all went back to back, and then Betty White hung on. But the others that she influenced that I watched a lot as a kid with my cousin, may she rest in peace, Barb. She passed away last week from this stupid COVID shit. But Big Mama's House.
Oh,
Betty White was originally on that, and that spawned off of one of her shows. So I love that.
Yeah, man, she was an amazing woman, man. And like I said, hate to start the new year off with that, but we got to give love to legends, man. We want to give love to the legends.
Six decades of entertainment, man.
6 decades, man. All right, y'all. So once again, much love to those, and may God bless their families through these very tough times. But now we got to get into Friday night. Boy, oh boy, was Friday night a very interesting turn of events. Friday
night was happy.
Ooh, boy, I tell you what, man. Alabama is dangerous. Like let's just get it out the way. Alabama is dangerous, but man, Georgia went in there and just punched Michigan in the chest. And once again, we see that the SEC is the main show. We've got a Alabama Georgia championship game looks like coming our way. And Jay, looking at this Alabama game, Alabama beat Cincinnati 27-6, and most people say, well, Cincinnati can't hang with the big dogs, and I don't want to say that in this case, even though, yes, they beat them, pretty bad.
Flip the script. Look at the other game.
Right. You look at the other game, it probably would have happened the other way. I was really hoping it was going to be Cincinnati and Michigan. But now that I look at it in hindsight, not in the championship, but in the semi. But now that I look at it in hindsight, this is probably the best move for the NCAA because you don't want to blow out in the national championship game. You may still get it because we've seen with Georgia how Georgia played against Alabama earlier this year. So
Georgia's got two of their key guys back they didn't have in that first game.
Mm-hmm.
And Kirby Smart will coach, but you never want to bet against Nick Saban. I mean, let's be honest. He is a great coach, and it hurts my heart to say that. But coming up on my post or my memories, I remember I was talking smack to my Alabama friends about the fact of when they first did the playoffs thing where no Big Ten teams can't compete with the SEC. Well, who did we beat to play Oregon? Alabama?
Alabama, yes, this is true. So, and that's the thing. Like, I look at this and, watching. I don't. The crazy thing, it doesn't even feel like Alabama played their best game. They kind of just they just played all right, and they did, and that was a good enough. Was it Rattler? Rattler, I always say his name wrong, but Riddler, whatever one, which one it is, Riddler. So Riddler just looked pedestrian,
uncomfortable as hell.
And look, and when you're going against five guys who are going to be in the NFL in the next couple of years, in the next year or so,
right.
I mean, I feel bad because this was a huge moment for those non-Power 5 schools. If this game was a little bit closer, I think people would have been like, well, man, at least they competed with them. So yeah, I hate to say it, but Cincinnati had that on their backside. They needed to have a really strong showing. So in future playoff runs, when people like UCF or Appalachian State, whoever it is that goes 13-0,
they get a chance.
They get a chance. The committee's going to be like, we saw what happened last time.
But see, this also poses a question: do we need to expand it to from 6 to 8 or 12?
Right. Yeah, because if the game, like, you want the playoffs to be intriguing. Right. You don't want blowouts, especially in your semifinal game. You don't want both of them to be blowouts. And Michigan just didn't show up. And man, Georgia was just out there punching people in the chest.
I was enjoying that very much just because why.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started watching yesterday's game, which we'll talk about that later. But I was just like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah, it was watching both of them and just kind of watching, the SEC dominate.
But then it makes you question: should teams like Clemson or South Carolina be able to move from the ACC to the SEC to make a big ass power division?
Well, I'm not. That's what I was just about to say. You look at Texas and Oklahoma making the leap, and I'm like, if I'm Texas, Oklahoma, do I even want to go to the SEC? Because look at this. Look at this. But it will, if anything, the SEC will make you ready for the championship. If you can, run the gauntlet, you're going to play tough teams every week. It is not going to be no slouching. You're going to go against good teams every week. Maybe the occasional slip up here, unless but your conference schedule is going to be a monster. You're going to play against solid teams, NFL ready players, and pretty much all the time. It's going to be tough. But
and then the other thing, a lot of players did set out for, getting ready for the draft, didn't want to get injuries, and people were a little bit talking shit on, those social media warriors on there, giving them crap.
Right.
But then you look what happened to Ole Miss's quarterback, Carroll.
Yeah.
He's got something wrong with his leg. His NFL draft stock could be going because he decided to play.
So that makes you wonder, like, if you're him to leap and go to the NFL, do you come back? I don't know if he can come back. I don't know if he's a senior or junior or whatnot. But whatever situation he's in, now, he's got, I hope he had insurance. Most players have insurance when they play in those games because they want to make sure that because it's going to mess up his draft stock. We're looking at probably one of the top 2-3 quarterbacks that are going to get picked in this draft. And now,
we don't even know what's wrong with him yet.
He could be a third or fourth rounder because he's a project now because they want to make sure he's healthy. So he's going to lose out on a lot of money. So I hope he had the insurance. I'm pretty sure he did.
Miles Jack, Jalen Smith.
Yep.
2 guys that were surefire top 10 picks, and they ended up making it to the second round.
Now, the only good thing is Miles Jackson's the only one that's still having pretty decent success.
I think there's something going with Jalen Smith up here because
it's weird. He he had a little rough go, and now he's on his third team now, and this year, and so with the Giants. So I mean, we'll see how things go there, but we got a Georgia and Alabama. That I'll give you early prediction. We'll make our official prediction when we get closer, but early prediction: who's winning this game?
Now, I mean, like I said before, you don't want to pick against Nick Saban. I hate him, the evil empire. So I'm going to go Georgia. I think Georgia has always been, in my head, the number one team in the country all year long because their offense and their defense are both just as deadly. You flip the script, Alabama's 5 stars all the way around. So if you can't win with that team, you shouldn't coach.
I agree 100%. I mean, Nick Saban doesn't even have to recruit anymore. That's how, you know what I'm saying? Like Nick Saban can be like, all right, come now.
Like I told you, we lost 4 or 5-star recruits by losing to Michigan. And then, we lost the number 1 overall recruit in that Owens, the quarterback. But after watching the way Stroud played yesterday, I know why he left, because he knew he wasn't going to get a chance.
I mean, right. So, I mean,
there's still 56 people available in the portal that are 4-star or higher.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I will say this. I think that if I had to say, I'm going with Alabama because I have the same logic with Alabama that I have with the Patriots, a couple years ago. Like, you just pick who, it's hard to pick against, a team that every year is going to be there. And half of those players have they already have half of those players on that team, if not 80%, 75% already have a national championship. So they know how to,
you say that and remember that was the year that it was Becca and I for the championship and the pick'ems. And I picked against the Patriots and she picked the Patriots. I was the only person in the entire network that picked against the Patriots.
You had to, though. It was a necessity.
It was. And I got punched in the mouth for it, but
it was a necessity. Yeah. Let's just put it that way. It was definitely a necessity. But yeah, I mean, you go on there. I got Alabama. Jay's got Georgia early. We'll see if our minds change as we get closer to the championship game, which I believe is January the 10th. So that's the next Monday. It should be next Monday. So be ready for that one. That should be fun. Next, we're going to talk about the 50 Hall of Fame finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I'm going to go over this list here. And Jay, at some point, I want to get your, we're going to pick 5. It's going to be tough. I may let you let's do 6 because it's going to be tough. I was looking at this the other day trying to pick the 6, and it's really hard when you go to look at it. But I'm going to go over the list of names here that they're the 15 2022 modern era finalists for their positions. So we got Jared Allen, Kansas City Chiefs for 3 years, Minnesota for 5 years, and with the Bears and the Panthers. Jared Allen, great defensive end in his day, which wasn't too long ago, but in his day. And then we got Willie Anderson, the offensive tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. Rondé Barber, who we have pictured here, an amazing player for over, 15, 16 years, 18 years he was with you guys.
Yeah.
So he was with the Bucs for so long and just an amazing player. Tony Baselli. And I don't know why, but I'm gonna say this. I don't know why he's on this list. And I know people's like, oh, he was really good for it. If he could be on this list, Sterling Shaw can be on this list, but I'm gonna continue. Leroy Butler, also in there, the only player from the All-90s team that has never, the only player from the All-90s team, All-Decade team that is not in the Hall of Fame, which is a travesty. We got Devin Hester, which I think that's a slam dunk. I think he's getting it because they've been hyping this for so long. Torrey Holt, the part of the greatest show on turf. Andre Johnson, that's going to be another tough one. Sam Mills, the great linebacker from New Orleans and Carolina. Richard Seymour from the Patriots / Raiders. Zach Thomas, who was with the Cowboys. Demarcus, who was a Cowboy and a Bronco. Reggie Wayne, who played all 13 of his seasons in Indianapolis. Patrick Willis, who his career was cut short or he retired early. And just imagine, I mean, I'm still surprised that he left early, but I don't know. It's a good one. And Bryant Young, also a 49er. So we got quite a few interesting names in this one, Jay. First of all, what are your thoughts on these finalists? I mean, it's a lot of good names.
You're right. There's a lot of good names. There's a couple of them that they're head scratchers why they're in here because, Baselli is there because he had like 3 good years where he wasn't hurt.
I don't get it. I don't think he's a finalist. I don't get it.
He was nothing like, Hutchinson or we'll say Orlando Brown. So I don't like him being on the list. Andre Johnson's another one. Andre Johnson was a great pick, but he was right there in that same thing as the guy that was picked before him. He was never fully healthy all the time.
Yeah.
So
I think it's tough. The Tony Baselli thing bothers me. It's been bothering me for years. 6 years in the league, and he was hurt a lot during that time frame. He never played. He went to the Texans. Never played.
Yeah, he was. He was the number one pick by the Jags when they were expansion team, and then when the Texans came in, they tossed him up in the expansion draft and let him go. So that tells you what the team that drafted him with their first overall pick.
That's why I said, I don't know if there's really any stats on him, but I just want to see where he was, because for me, Tony Baselli shouldn't even be on this list, and I don't understand why he keeps getting on this list. And I don't know who or what connections that he has. Okay, all right. So all right. So maybe I'm a little bit wrong here. He was a 5-time Pro Bowler. I win.
But
I'm surprised.
But then if you look at the competition he had when he was here in the league at left tackle to go against Pro Bowlers, I bet you find out in the AFC there wasn't that many. There were more NFC tackles.
Maybe I just don't remember him being good. Maybe it's my fault here. I mean, I'm looking at this 5-time Pro Bowler, so he was pretty much a Pro Bowler.
But
his first 5 seasons in the year.
But
he was 3-time All Pro.
Hold on. The thing is everybody talks to him about because he was a left tackle. So in their head, they're thinking that he's protecting the blind side of the quarterback. But he played so many years, and his quarterback was Mark Brunell,
right?
Who's a lefty.
He was a part of the 90s All-Decade team. So I guess I don't know how that's possible, because they said
he was a great right tackle. Let's put it that way.
All right. Well, I don't know. Maybe he does deserve it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sorry, but I don't feel like it. Maybe I just don't remember him.
Jared Allen is got to go in. Jared Allen took nothing, and he really started making people look out at the programs out in the middle of the nation and up in the West Coast, because around the same time he come out has a defensive end. I think he was like a 4th or 5th round pick. And so that was the same time that they found Brock Lesnar in South Dakota.
Brock Lesnar.
And Minnesota, put him on scholarship, and they ended up destroying everybody in the NCAA, for like 3 years. So, I mean, it made them look at the small time programs a lot more. So, and Jared Allen was a pain in the ass. You got to see him twice a year,
Yeah, Jared Allen used to get on my nerves. Especially when he was in Minnesota, I hated him. I mean, but he's definitely I don't know if he gets in this year personally. I think he does. He definitely deserves to get in. I don't know if he gets in personally. It's because you're going to get to the point here where you got to start getting people in that probably should have been gotten in or whatnot. This list is hard.
Leroy Butler should be in. Barber should be in. Both those guys. Butler, like what you said, all 90s team. I mean, he's been on this list since we've been doing our network. He was one of the big guests that we had actually had the privilege of talking to. But then you look at Barber. Barber, for a corner, has more sacks and tackles for losses than any other corner in NFL history.
Right. It makes it tough to not have him in. All right, so I'm looking at this list and I'm thinking, all right, how does the writers, are they going to try to push somebody in because we got more people? And if that's the case, I'm looking at this list and there's 2 people that stand out that are probably going to get pushed in because they got to kind of get them through. And that's Leroy Butler and Terry Holt. Terry Holt has been a finalist for a hot minute now. Baselli could be another one that they try to push through because Baselli's been a finalist for the last 4
And didn't Isaac Bruce get in last year?
Isaac Bruce got in, so I think he's going to get in. The question is when. I think this might be the year. So I got Holt and Butler for sure. Hester is getting in because people have been hyping the first kick returner to ever make. It's about storylines. He's going to get in because they've been hyping the first kick returner to get in the Hall of Fame, and it's never happened before. And he's getting the hype. So Hester's going to get in. I just know that
Okay, well, if Hester gets in, why isn't the human joystick in there?
it's not the same. Not the same. If
But
you're talking about Dante Hall,
Dante Hall revolutionized the kick returning game.
No,
Yes,
look,
tell me you didn't.
Esther did it for longer. That's the whole
That's
thing.
fine.
Like
I'll give you
Dante
that.
had like a
Hester did it
4-year
for
span.
longer.
Yeah, Dante did like a 4-year span, but like Hester did it pretty much the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But like what 8 to 9 years. That's the real difference. Like now, Dante Hall was amazing, and we both know that.
When was the last? How many? I mean, because I know like his rookie year, he had like 6, returns. But I know he set the record at 9 in a season. But at the end of his career, they were so far and few between. I remember the last time I watched him, I think he was playing for the Falcons.
Yeah, he was playing for the
got
Falcons.
Tackled by our punter.
Well, they had him at he was like the main receiver at one point for the Falcons during that season because I forgot which year it was, but he was like, yeah. But I say this, I think because of the media hype, he's definitely going to get in. And then it's kind of a toss-up because there's a lot of great defensive players from our era. Reggie Wayne is a guy who was with, they already got Edrin in, they've already got Marvin in, they've already got Peyton in. So it's like, does he go down? Do they wait a little bit longer to bring him in? Patrick Willis is one guy that I think they might let in now because he was because think about it. Like I said, it's not that I think or that I want him to get in just yet. I think he will get in. But I feel like, even when he retired, people was like, bruh, like it's like Calvin Johnson syndrome. Calvin Johnson.
Because Willis retired, and then they were able to find that dude in he was a young kid, and he played for like 2 years after he signed this big contract, and then he walked away.
Borland,
yeah.
Yeah, so
like, I'm done.
I'm done. He did 2 years. He was out, and they thought he was on his way to being a really good linebacker in the league. And so, like I said, Patrick Willis, a lot of people still think he should be playing today. A lot of people had him as the next Ray Lewis. That's why I got a feeling, low key, that if he would surprise me because he has that Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, I retired early type of feel to him. So,
but the one thing I see though is the way that they've done the last few classes is that they're bringing people in because of age, health, because and then you got the epidemic that's going on, and so they want to be able to get some people in before they pass.
Right.
And so, that's like, Jimmy Johnson got in. I thought that was great. And then Jones immediately said, yeah, you can get in the Ring of Honor because
Jimmy's up there. Yeah, Jimmy's up there. They got Cower in last year. So that this is a really tough list because there's a lot of great, solid players. To me, there's no one that like stands out. You know what I'm saying? Like last year it was Peyton and Charles Woodson, and you like, that's easy.
Yeah.
That's this list doesn't say that. That's why I said like whoever gets picked is like, okay, all right, cool. Like it's gonna be like that because it's like all these players deserve to get in.
How long can you be on the list before
I think there is a certain time. I think it's like either 15 or 20 years before you're on the list, and then you become a not a modern. What do they call it? Postmodern era selection, and then you have to get selected from like. They like the committee selects you way beforehand, like or something like that. Because they've done that with other like older players for a minute ago. But I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see some really good names on this list. It's just looking at it right now is really hard. But for me, if I had to say guarantees, at least they should be guarantees, or they may push through. I would say Butler, Barber, Hester, and Holt would be the 4.
I agree with that.
And it could be a toss-up after that. And maybe Baselli. And because Baselli's been on this list for a minute. And that's the only thing I could think of on that.
It says 1912.
At least 1912.
What's up?
All right. Who was on there?
Dad.
Hey, what's up, Pops? All right. So let's go ahead and get
better, COVID King.
Not COVID King. All right. Let's get into our predictions here for week 16. It should be a week 17. Week 17. We got all the games on all the teams are playing today except for Monday night. We got 15 games today. 15 games of football going on today. I think it's five afternoon game.
This is week 16, isn't it?
17. We are week 17. It goes back at last week.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Week 17 this week, week 18 next week. We got 2 games left.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I was
All
going
right,
to say,
so-
I know there's 2 more. Hold on, I got something for a prescription. Okay. But I knew there was 2 more because I need Mike Evans to get his 101 yards.
I know they say he was questionable today, but I think he's playing though, right?
He's playing today because he needs 101 yards to get that 8th consecutive season.
Crazy. Hall of Famer.
Yards.
Hall of Famer. Like, I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, no one else can say this. No one else can say what he's doing right now.
I went back and looked at the redraft of this class, and they actually have him going up where Watkins went.
Yeah, which also makes sense because Watkins has been mediocre.
Well, because this was the class that Donald Penn should have went first,
Mm-hmm.
and Clowney went first, and then Mack should go second.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then which guy should have been, and he should have been third. Yeah,
but
this is also the OBJ. This is an OBJ
class too.
Yeah.
OBJ has the talent, but he's never on the field to show the talent.
Yeah. I will say he's had a nice little stretch the last couple of weeks. We'll see if that continues. But he's had a nice little stretch the last couple.
Jarvis Landry, Sammy Watkins, and Mike Evans.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes here in the next couple of weeks. Let's go ahead. Let's get it started. Week 17. First one we got Falcons and Bills from Buffalo at 1 o'clock. I put Thursday on there. I must have forgot to do that. But anyway, we've got that rolling on in this one. Who do you got in this contest today?
I got the Bills, just because I hate the Falcons.
Well, I'm picking the Bills for somewhat the same reason, but not the same reason. Every time I pick the Falcons this year, they lose. So I knew I wasn't doing that. So I was like, Buffalo it is. And, the Falcons still have somehow, some way, still have an opportunity to make the playoffs. They're 7-8, and they, on paper, they just don't look like a good team. I've had to be real honest with you. On paper, they just don't look like a good team.
Their number 1 wide receiver is Justin Gage.
Right now. And they had home really because of, some personal issues. Pitts has been getting there. Cordell Patterson is having an amazing year and somehow didn't make the Pro Bowl. The travesty there is absolutely blowing my mind. He'll probably make it because of a alternate, but it's stupid that he didn't make it as a starter. But that's dumb. Anyway,
I agree. You're froze.
I'm sorry. That wasn't. I something popped up on my phone. They were saying Green Bay hopeful that. I will talk about that later. All right, so we got Falcons and Bills. I got the Bills in this one. Jay's got the Bills. Next one, we got Giants and Bears from Chicago. The Giants are what we like to call a dumpster fire. The Bears are not. The Bears are not too far from it, but I got to go quarterback situation here, and and God me for saying out loud. So Becca, go ahead and cue the $10,000. But Big Dick Nick Foles, as Philadelphia fans like to call him, is starting today. And when he's coming out of the backup role, things go well. So
he's when he's coming out of the backup role, he's got Fitzpatrick magic.
He's got Fitzpatrick magic. So I'm going with the Bears today. And the Giants. God bless the Giants. At least they got 2 picks in the top 5 right now. That's got to be something to smile about.
I mean,
that's got to be something to smile about.
Gettleman's got to go though.
He got to go. He got to go like
his
that.
nose, let alone people.
Next matchup, we got the Chiefs and the Bengals. In most people's eyes, this is a game of the day.
Yes.
Cincinnati has an outside chance to still be the 1 seed. But in order to do that, you got to win this game today. You got to win this game today and then hope some things fall in your favor. But this is a big step because you would have that game advantage over the Chiefs.
But their secondary has been their weakest link for the Bengals. Their offense can keep up with the Chiefs' offense, but and this is gonna sound crazy. The Chiefs' defense has actually been playing better as late.
Yes.
So I'm going Chiefs.
Ever since the Chiefs got Melvin Ingram, they haven't lost. Ever since the Chiefs got and I can't remember. I think, and as you know, I love my guy Rob because Rob will say some stuff. So some down there, you be like, all right, Rob, yeah, I see you. He said something a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, man, you right there. Now I remember him saying, trade for Melvin Ingram. What is that gonna make a difference? I agreed with him at the time. Like, that's not gonna help Kansas City. Well, guess what? Kansas City hasn't lost a game since he's been in there. So maybe we were just like,
He's gonna have a little bald spot from everybody rubbing his head for good luck.
So but I got the Chiefs in this one. I didn't know this, but the Chiefs haven't won in Cincinnati since the 80s. How is that possible? Like, right. We got a friend of ours who has come on Legacy on Fire, Clarence Nixon, who's a huge Cincinnati fan. And he posted, he was like, yeah, man, the Chiefs have not, if this is true, the Chiefs haven't won in Cincinnati since the 80s. That was so a long time ago. That's crazy. I would have never thought that. I would have felt like they'd beat them. I mean, don't give me that. I'm in the 80s too. You act like it's that much difference. You know,
I just barely missed the 70s, bro.
But you're in, so that's all that counts. You have an 8-0 in there, and that's all that counts. But I got the Chiefs in this one, even though I think the Bengals will come to play today.
I hope it's a good game.
I hope so too. I mean, it's got all the expectation for it. Next one's Titan and Dolphins.
This is going to be the next best game.
I got the Dolphins, but the Titans have just keep finding ways to win games. So
I went to Titans because they, AJ Brown came back last week and just
AJ Brown
phenomenal. That defense, they're getting players back at the right time. I went Titans.
I went Dolphins because one, they're on the streak, and the Dolphins, you got to give credit where credit. We've talked about this a couple of times. The way Brian Flores, it takes a different person to come out here and do what Brian Flores and his team has done in the last couple of weeks. A couple of things that I like what I saw. All right, they won the first game, and they lose 7 in a row. They could have easily given up 7 in a row. They're in the playoffs. They are the number 7 seed. If the playoffs started today, they would be playing the Titans in the first round. But the thing is, Flores as a coach took a step back, went to his coaches and said, what do I need to do to get this team where instead of just let me figure it out, he went to his coaches and individually and said, what do we need? What do we need to fix? And they've done that. They found a way together to fix this thing. Tua is playing great ball. Waddle is only a couple of catches away from breaking the record for Anquan Boden's 100-yard
rookie.
His rookie record for 101 receptions in a season. So, I mean, much kudos to him. I want to see the Dolphins make the playoffs, not just because I picked them at the beginning and say, okay, that's part of it, but not because of that. But I like a good story, and I like Flores, man. So I got the Dolphins in this one. Maybe we'll see if they can.
I always feel bad for people because I'll give you this. You definitely said that you loved what Flores brought when he come to the Dolphins. He brought the Belichick mentality of picking his people. And when he got Kyle Vinoy, and Vinoy didn't do shit.
Right.
I was worried. But then, he really has stepped it up. You're right. He's done great. I was afraid you were going to Blake Bortles him.
I got worried. And then, like I said, Tua's been playing great like since he's come back. And it's just something about this Dolphins team. I'm not expecting this Dolphins team to go to the Super Bowl. Let me clarify. But it would be nice to see them make the playoffs, maybe even get a win. But that's how tight the AFC is. Anything can go in the AFC.
You said the other day there's 12 or 13
there's
teams?
There's still 13 teams still in this mix. The Broncos are the last team. They're like 7-8. But they're the last team, but they're only a game and a half out. And if everything else falls their way, they can jump. Because the Dolphins last week were the bottom team. And look where they are now. They're in the 7th slot.
Right.
Today is going to be a day of so many playoff, not predictions, but
implications.
Implications. There's that's why I say it's going to be a great Sunday to just sit and watch football because so much is going to go on. But I got the Dolphins. Jay's got the Titans. All right, I got all that out. That felt good. Next one, we got the Raiders and the Colts. Raiders.
Colts.
I got the Colts. The Raiders are sometimey, and the Colts are my wild card team in the AFC.
Raiders have lost every starting linebacker that they've had this year.
It's crazy.
And they're down to they have maybe one linebacker left on practice squad. All the rest of them have been moved up to starters, and going against I can say this with all confidence, the best offensive line and running back in the game right now.
And that's it. I agree with you 100%. I mean, that offensive line finally got healthy, and they got healthy at the right time. And Carson Wentz is out here taking care of the football. On top of that, I mean, and Carson Wentz will be playing today. The COVID protocols, he got through that. They tested him. So, Wentz will play today. And this is one of those weird games, but the Colts should win it. I got the Colts. Jay's got the Colts in this contest. Next one, Patriots. The Jaguars and Patriots. The Jaguars are just so bad, and I really do feel bad for Trevor Lawrence. Jay, there's three names that I've heard out there right now that could be the potential next head coach of this team. Your boy Byron Leftwich. They've also put in Caldwell, and there is who's the other one? Oh, there's one more name, but I'll be honest with you. If it's not your boy, deserves a job. Be a guy to kind of transition. Trevor Lawrence, he's a great offensive mind. Especially if you want to.
I don't think Leftwich is going anywhere. They're going to interview him, but we're going to throw money at him like what we did with Bowles last year, because Bowles is another name that they've been thrown out there too.
That was the other one. Todd Bowles. Thank you. There you go. Todd Bowles was the other one. So those three names, and I really hope Caldwell gets it, because Caldwell got done dirty in Detroit. Let's go ahead and get that out the way now. He kind of got done dirty in Indianapolis too. So he got Indianapolis to the Super Bowl, and then they still let my man go. So
the Raiders did the same thing to him.
Yeah, Caldwell's a really good coach, man.
I would love to see, but I feel like Caldwell could be the reincarnation of Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, no, but
he keeps getting recycled so many times.
But that's the thing, though. Caldwell didn't deserve to get the fight in Detroit. They made the playoffs back-to-back years.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you at all on that.
Yeah, and like I said, he went to the Super Bowl with the Colts and they still fired him. I'm just like, bruh, what else do you want? I think it was a year after that they fired him. So Caldwell makes sense on a veteran stance. If you want to put butts in the seats, you go with Leftwich if you can get him. Because
exactly, but why would you not, with the talent they have right now and young talent, get a coach like Bellamy? Why not him?
Yeah,
Bellamy would be. I mean, could you imagine a stronger armed version of Patrick Mahomes?
And it could work out, but the first thing that Jacksonville needs to do is fix that offensive line. Because it's garbage. You got to protect. You cannot have Trevor Lawrence. Poor Trevor Lawrence hits this. He's still on to do really good stuff. And
I mean, I agree. He's got the talent there, but I just I don't know.
Well, I mean, I agree. I mean, we'll see how things go, but stay don't have about this.
Get on my head. 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 Get on my head.
Oh God, I love it. We don't have to worry about that no more. Next matchup. Hold up. Next matchup, we got the Bucks taking on the Jets from MetLife.
I'm going Bucks.
Even with the Bucks, I wouldn't say JV squad, but even
it's pretty damn close.
Yeah, the JV squad, and they're still better. Last week we saw was it Keyshawn Vaughn come out there and make some great plays.
55-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, 55-yard touchdown. You got guys coming in and doing good things without your Godwins, and AB's been nicked up here and there, and Gronk he's healthy again, but they haven't quite gotten him back in there fully yet.
But it's lost no Shaq Barrett. We're getting some of the secondary help back. So look for Cam Gill and Joe Tyron, whatever the hell his last name is.
Mm-hmm.
Shakita. I don't know how to say his last name.
Yeah, so, I mean, but even with the Bucks being nicked up, I mean, can the Jets pull this off? Yeah, they could, but they won't. They won't.
They're making history today because it is the largest gap in age difference. Tom Brady is 22 years older to the day than Zach Wilson.
Wow.
They were both born the same day, except one was in 79, the other was 99, or 77, the other one was 99.
Crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, it is, but I mean,
Zach Wilson's going to get a GOAT lesson today, so that should be fun to see. We both got.
I just want to see Levante David break him.
Oh, we don't want to see him get broken.
Yes, we do.
Or as Elena would say, brocot. They're brocot, which I don't even know what that means, but that's what she says. Next one, we got the Washington football team hosting the Eagles. We did get word that the Washington football team will officially announce their new name in Super Bowl week. So they're obviously not going to be there. So that's something they don't have to worry about there. But they will be announcing the new
Rough Riders.
They will be announcing the name. Then a lot of fans I still hear they want Red Wolves, but a lot of them I heard the Commander. It's a whole bunch of like wild names. We're gonna see. I feel like they're gonna make people pissed. Washington Armada. They're gonna be like, bro, or the Washington Presidents, which also could be a legendary thing as well.
Because there'll be a bunch of scandals.
Yo, yeah. Look,
I'm going Eagles.
Whatever name you pick, Washington, make sure it has keep it as far away from scandals as possible. You definitely want that to be the case. I got the Eagles in this one. Oh, yeah. Jalen Hurts and the squad are the 7th seed right now. So
and keep Montez Sweat in your thoughts and prayers. His brother was killed in a shooting here in Richmond.
It's crazy, right there in Henrico, not too far from my job. I was like, this is the craziest thing. So yeah, prayers to Montez Sweat and his family, man. You hate stuff like that. You just hate stuff like that.
Yeah, we got a pandemic going on. Let's stop shooting each other.
Yeah. Can we focus on getting the pandemic out of here instead of being like butts to each other? But anywho, Eagles in this one. Could Washington win this game? Yeah, but I hate to say it, the last couple of weeks, and it could be because he's still recovering from COVID. He looks tired on the field. Taylor Heineke has not been the same guy since they went on that 4th streak.
I agree.
And
did they bring in Kyle Allen?
He went from he's the answer to all of a sudden maybe he's not so much the answer. In Washington, you're starting to hear let's draft a quarterback, but if you're Washington, go find your solid veteran, a really good veteran that could come through. There's going to be some names out there that you can make some maybe. Not that guy. Not that type of thing.
I
didn't think he was the right choice last year neither. I still think they should have went after Mariota, and I will still stick with that.
I'm not going to disagree with that, but I think they should have kept Alex Smith because he showed he wanted to be there to play.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, they messed that up because Alex was playing good football before he got hurt towards the end of the season. Alex looks like he's having fun on Monday Night Football with Booger and Mo.
Every time I can't believe that Booger McFarland played the 3 technique beside Warren Sapp.
Booger, baby. Booger, the book of Booger. Next one, we got Ravens and Rams from Baltimore. The Baltimore is supposed to be on the team last couple. Yeah, I got the Rams. Baltimore went from being the 1 seed 4 weeks ago to now being out of the playoffs. They lost 4 straight games. They were the 1 seed.
Let me throw this out there. Okay, after Michigan's embarrassment, in the college football playoffs, and what the 2-point conversions instead of going for the tie a couple times, do you think we see both the Harbaughs unemployed this year?
I don't. Well, Jim's not going anywhere. Not after, and don't make me after beating y'all. That's what's going to save him for at least another year or two.
Oh wait. Oh, it was 8 in a row. We beat them.
Doesn't matter. When you lose to a team as much as they had to y'all, just getting 1 dub, it means a lot. Take it from a guy who knows. So that's going to give him at least 2 years of a reprieve before, unless they just absolutely stink it up. So I don't think he'll be going anywhere. Now, John, though, on the other hand, this is tough. John's been there a long time. He's won a Super Bowl with this team, and you've been a mainstay there. But the way they lost these last couple of games, and the only thing that may save him is what say John Gruden a couple years ago, or not John Gruden, but Jay Gruden when he was in Washington. It's all the injuries he had to endure this year. Not having his whole running back crew being wiped out. Even in the Green Bay game, he had 6 guys in the secondary wiped out for that game. So I mean, that's what's going to save him. So I don't think neither one goes anywhere. But unless he decides to step down, or John or Jim, either one of them decide to step down. I think they got at least 1 more year in them, at least one. I'm telling you right now, all Michigan really, they don't care about the national championship. They just glad they beat y'all. We saw that on Friday night. They was like, man, we beat Ohio State, we good. They ain't care about that game. He care about that game. Sorry, Lamont. Happy birthday, by the way. Next one, we got the Broncos and the Chargers. I went with the Broncos in this one. I don't like the way the Chargers.
I hate this shit because I'm picking the Chargers. Every
Oh,
damn time I pick the fucking Chargers,
one,
they do me dirty.
That right. I picked the Chargers last week, and then they lose to the Texans, and they let the Texans drop 41 points on them.
I was going to say, and they didn't lose by a little. They
lost by a lot of bit, and they were losing worse than that, and then they kind of came back. So I got the Broncos in this one. I can't do the Chargers. Next one. Speaking of the Texans taking on the 49ers from San Francisco or Santa Clara. We get to see Trey Lance start today.
I'm going 49ers.
You know, I was really close to picking the Texans in this one. I mean, like really close because I was like, Davis Mills is actually he hasn't been playing bad. Like, when it hasn't been great, but he hasn't been playing bad. And I think the Texans think they got something in him. So, hey, but I'm going with San Francisco.
Me too.
Okay. So yeah. Next one, the Cardinals versus the Desperados from Arlington.
I'm going with the Desperados.
I'm going with the Cardinals.
Is D-Hop back?
He's not back. He's not back yet. But what I will say is I like what I've seen from guys like Ertz. Edmonds has come back. I don't know if Connor comes back, but their running game is actually a lot better than people say.
That's great. But how many games have they won without D-Hop? How many?
They haven't won a lot. Without D-Hop. But I will also say this. We also have to look at the Desperados, and the Desperados have not won a lot of games against teams that have winning records this year. So this is a true test for both.
Who'd you pick to go to the Super Bowl this year from the AFC or NFC?
I picked Tampa Bay.
Oh, I thought you picked the Cowgirls.
I picked Tampa Bay and Buffalo. Tampa Bay and Buffalo was my Super Bowl prediction. Yeah.
I mean, I'll play them.
Right. But I'll have to say that, it's something about it. This is a big night for the Washington Desperados. This is a big night for the Desperados because they need this win not for just to still have a chance to get the 1 seed, but they need this win to prove to the rest of the league or other people that they can beat teams over 500. Because that's the big thing now. Dallas is winning games, but they are beating people under 500. But you're supposed to beat the people you're supposed to beat.
And I'll say this: Mike Parsons is still one of my favorite players to watch right now. He's amazing. Something about him and that speed, what he does. He's what I was hoping we would get from Devin White. And then I'm not saying Devin White is not living up to that because he's all over the field.
Right.
But Devin White is more of a coverage linebacker where Parsons can be a coverage, but man, he is got 12 sacks already.
Yeah. He's been amazing and a great young piece of that Dallas defense. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. But I'm going with the Cardinals in this one. Mm-hmm. Next one, Panthers and Saints. All right, so
I went with a coin.
I went with the Panthers, but only because I just want to see Sam Darnold do well. He's going to start today.
I went with the Saints.
My thing is, I feel like Darnold got done dirty. Alvin Kamara is back.
And half that defense, Burns and somebody else, is out.
Well, here's the problem. Alvin Kamara was back last week, and they didn't give him the football, which I'm still trying to figure out what Sean Payton was thinking against this Dolphins team last week at home. So for me, it's the Saints who are just nicked up at quarterback. I don't know who's starting. I don't even know who's starting at quarterback today. I don't think it's Ian Book. It might be Taysom Hill, or I couldn't tell you. But I want to see Sam Darnold kind of get another notch on his belt here because, he had a little rough stretch, before he went out and got injured. But I want to see if this is our last chance to really see if Sam Darnold's going to be worth keeping as a quarterback in, Carolina or anything like that. So I'm just going to see him do well. So I'm going.
Darnold's going to, as much as that hurts, he's going to get the Josh Rosen treatment.
Oh man, that's tough. Oh, that's tough to get that Rosen treatment. Rosen is in the depths of the NFL. Next one, Lions and Seahawks from Seattle. I'm going with Seattle, but I think we're getting close to seeing the end of Russell Wilson in Seattle, which is hard to say.
I went Lions.
You did.
The Lions have been playing really good.
They have been. They should have won last week against Atlanta, but they,
couldn't pull it out.
And of course, the week that I pick them, The Lions, the Falcons. The Lions and the Falcons. Every time I pick them, they lose. So I just didn't know how to go on this one. So I picked Seattle.
I love Russell Wilson, but he's not, I agree with you. This is the last time I think we see Russell play for Seattle. He is not playing with that passion and that drive. He's just there. You can see it all over his face.
He needs a change of scenery. And, the names of teams I keep hearing, the Giants, you don't want to go to New York, man.
I would love to see him as our backup to Tom. That'd be great.
What type of talk is that? Get out of here. Get out of here. Look, I saw somebody in the Packers fan group was like, well, let's let Aaron Rodgers go and go get Russell Wilson. If Aaron Rodgers retires, I will all means take Russell Wilson in Green Bay. Let me tell you something right now. I'll be a very happy man because you're going to give me one Super Bowl quarterback for another. I will gladly take Russell. But I know better than that, and I'd rather keep the potential MVP. But we'll see. Because he's playing, last 3 years since they said they were kicking him out. He's only just, thrown like 7 interceptions in 3 years. It's crazy.
4 of those were against Tampa Bay.
4 of those against Tampa Bay. So we just got to stay away from y'all in the playoffs, and we'll be fine. Next one. Speaking of the Packers, Vikings and Packers tonight from Green Bay. It's going to be 0 degrees outside, literally. Like it's supposed to be 0 degrees in Green Bay tonight. And there is no Kirk Cousins. He is out with COVID protocol. He's out.
We in the North call that cold as hell.
Yeah, that 0 degrees is gonna be fun tonight. So you guys enjoy it out there.
That's where you tear shit and you don't know it until you thaw out.
yeah. It's like, what happened? Oh shoot, I don't know what this is. So it should be.
Well,
I just
the
want to beat them.
They're out of the playoffs.
Let's eliminate them. Yeah.
Does that mean is Sean Mannon the starting quarterback?
Sean Mannon is starting tonight.
Oh God, I remember watching him play, and when I think he played his college ball at Oregon State.
Yeah. Sean Mannon is starting tonight.
He's got that robot arm.
I still won't put nothing past Minnesota because I just won't do that.
There's no Cooks. There's no.
I don't think Madison is playing. I don't think Madison is playing either, but I'm not sure. They're nicked up big time.
Madison, but then what is going on with this Justin Jefferson shit?
I know I saw something on it, but I don't.
He put out some tweets about coaching. The coach is not making decision. They wasted his best game of his career, and he's talking shit about Zimmer big time. So Zimmer,
that's another team that I think we're gonna see a lot of change in the offseason. Like the NFC, the Bears. Well, I don't know about Washington per se. I think they'll keep Ron Rivera, but the Bears, the Giants, the Vikings. There's going to be a couple of teams that we see some makeovers. Some of them that will be surprised if we see makeovers, but Seattle will be one that we're definitely going to see a makeover. The Falcons are going to be another that is going to be some changes going on there. It's going to be interesting.
The way it's projected, the cap number is going to go up almost $40 million.
Yeah.
Damn.
Somebody going to get paid. But yeah, I got the Packers tonight easily. I would never pick Minnesota. I don't care if we're the worst team in the league. And y'all can say whatever y'all want about me, but I will never pick the Vikings to beat the Packers ever again. Ever. I don't care if we're the worst team in the league. We could have me starting at quarterback, and I would still pick us to win. And that's just how it is.
Bro, I love you, but I wouldn't pick you.
I mean, hey, I'm just saying. All right, last one, Monday Night Football, Browns and Steelers. Big Ben's last game at Heinz Field, unless they won't get a home playoff game. So this is their last game at Heinz Field for Big Ben. And we could be seeing, we're going to see big changes in the Steelers, at least at the quarterback position in the offseason. So
first time since 2004, we'll see a different quarterback there.
You'll see a different quarterback there. As a starter. I'm going with Pittsburgh because I mean, their energy in that crowd is going to be crazy. Knowing that it's Big Ben's last game, even for those who are tired of Big Ben and ready to go, they're still going to show enough respect for him. It's going to be a crazy game. I think Big Ben goes off tomorrow night against the Browns and maybe eliminate the Browns from the playoffs.
No, I'm actually picking the Browns, and I just want to talk to all the keyboard warriors out there. Y'all a bunch of punk bitches. You threatened a guy's wife you threaten her life because he throws 4 interceptions. It's a fucking game, you tards.
Is that what happened? I'm not surprised by that because we got a lot of idiots out there on
but that's just pure disrespect. I mean,
why would you
they
threaten
need to
somebody's life?
find somebody and just smash their fucking keyboards over their hands.
That's the thing that have always bothered me. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, and I'll just throw this in there real quick, and this is not the same, but like you go in here in these pages and like they act like people can't have lives outside of football.
Right.
So like if Aaron Rodgers is dating someone, he's playing bad because he's dating someone.
They're just pissed off because they don't have a girlfriend and their
right.
blow-up one.
I never understood that. Whenever a quarterback is playing bad and they're in the limelight, or somebody's playing bad and they're in the limelight, and they got a girlfriend in their life, the girlfriend is ruining their lives. I mean, it's always something. It's like
I don't know about you, but my woman always, when I'm having bad times and shit, she helps me refocus what's going on in my life and where I need to prioritize my energy. So y'all a bunch of crackheads.
It be on my mind. It definitely blows my mind from time to time. But anywho, all right, everybody, those were our predictions here for week 17. Today's going to be a lot of fun in football, man. I got the red zone teed up, ready to go. And it should be a good day of football. But before we finish the show, you already know what time it is.
You Pavlov me, you asshole.
And now it's time for Cash or Trash.
Oh, this is great. All right, so we got 3 cash or trash topics for you today. Some simple ones, some interesting ones, and we've kind of talked a little bit here and there about some of the stuff going on in those. The first one we're going to go with, it has to do with the NBA and Russell Westbrook. I always flip their names. It drives me crazy. So Westbrook has had a really rough couple of weeks with the Lakers, and Laker fans are calling for his head. They want him out of town. Anthony Davis is broken every 3 minutes.
They were talking about that they tried to shove him over when the Cavs traded for Rondo.
Mm-hmm.
They actually presented Westbrook, but we don't have the cap space.
They took Rondo.
Cash. Well, we didn't have the cash. We tried to give them the Love contract for it, and they said no.
Let me tell you something, man. As a Cavaliers fan, if I was a Cavaliers fan, I wouldn't want Russell there. You got a good young nucleus there, and not saying that Russell, not that he's not going to make them better. I mean, yes, we saw what he did with the Wizards last year, and he did some really good things. He's great for the community. I will never take that away from him.
But his mindset on the basketball court is not good right now.
Yeah, right, and I don't think Cleveland's not the spot for him. If you got to go somewhere where you're going to be the dominant force. It's kind of like a Dame situation in Portland. You got to go somewhere like
they should send him to the Spurs.
Spurs would be interesting because I would like to see how Pop would handle him, and I think Pop could. Oh Lord, don't beat him, Pop. But I'm gonna cash it, because to be honest with you, this Lakers team needs to rebuild completely.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, they should probably trade. LeBron too. They should probably trade LeBron. They should probably trade Anthony Davis and just restart. I know
Davis is hurt more than I am.
I know somebody is going to beat me up for that, but here's the thing. Yes, LeBron has been playing great when he's been playing, but just look at this team as a whole. Anthony Davis is always hurt, and Russell Westbrook, they just can't get a thing together. LeBron is 36, and yes, he still can play ball, but he's out there doing the best he can, and it just feels like it's not working. And just trade them all.
Look at that 2003 draft class. How many people from that class are playing besides LeBron?
It's not a lot.
How many's playing from the 2004 draft class then?
Dwight. No, yeah, Dwight. Well, and they're on the same team. Dwight, Carmelo, and LeBron. I think they might be the only guys left from that class, man. I mean, that are playing. So.
They play, when they feel. If you're LeBron, you got to know when to call it quits because you're not Jordan, bro.
I just look at it and say that they just need to find a way. The team just doesn't complement each other. I may be exaggerating by trading everybody, but they've got to do something. Davis, in my opinion, if you're going to keep anybody, keep LeBron. Trade Davis and trade Westbrook and get you some good young pieces that could come in there and complement LeBron. It's just like you can't trust Davis because he's always hurt. you just can't trust him because he's always hurt. And it's like every other game. I remember I got friends on my page that are Lakers fans. Every second he's like, he's down again. He's down again. It's just going across my timeline. So it's just like
I seen the possible trade of sending Davis to the Pelicans. I was like, isn't that where we got him from?
yeah, he didn't want to go there. I tell you, the one that got me was I saw when they said they would trade Westbrook and Davis to Chicago for DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, and I forgot who the other person was. And I said immediately, if I was Chicago, I would destroy myself. If I said I would go and smack the GM and myself personally if he did that trade. Don't you dare.
Yeah.
And I know Davis is from Chicago, so he probably would be nice to go home. But don't mess up on the chemistry on the Chicago team is really good right now, and they look great. They could win the East. Chicago can win the East.
Shout out to your guy. I seen actually guy from Virginia got that 10-day contract and balled out.
17 points in his first game, made some great plays, man. It was cool to see. I don't know if he's going to end up sticking with the team because the 10-day contract is mostly because of all these injuries that Miami has, and so.
But if he plays like that, you gotta think Spoelstra will be like,
I like him, and you can always use more shooters. And if Cal Guy can do anything, Cal Guy can shoot. Maybe not greatest on the defensive end from time to time. People say he's a defensive liability, but when you have a great defensive team, you can have one liability as long as they can shoot lights out. And I've seen this guy personally many times, and this kid can play, or he can shoot the hell out of the 3-point shot. So yeah, we'll see. I want to kind of get a Cal Guy jersey just because I'm like, Miami, but it is what it is. All right, next one on Cash or Trash. Derrick Henry potential playoff return. Can the Titans get to the Super Bowl? Will you cash or trash the Titans getting to the Super Bowl if Derrick Henry returns?
I'm going to cash that just because that man's a beast. I don't give a shit what you say.
Hey, look, he still led the league in rushing for 3 weeks after he had been sat down. He had a 600-yard lead. Everybody's praising and deserves the praise Jonathan Taylor. But if Derrick Henry never got hurt, Derrick Henry would already have 2,000 yards rushing.
Oh, absolutely.
He would have had it like a week or two ago.
He's 6'3", 250, and he runs 23 mile an hour. Good luck.
Scary. I'd be like, Coach, why didn't you tackle him? You go out there and tackle him. I ain't touching him, man. You crazy? Get out of here. But I cashed it because the AFC is so wide open, and somehow the Titans have been able to win under the circumstances.
They'd be like, Darrell, it's fine. We know you don't want to tackle him, but don't give him a high five when he run right by you.
Man, good job, man. But see, like people ask me who are your favorite non-Packer players, and I would say Derrick Henry and Josh Allen. Those are probably my favorite two non-Packer players. I just like watching them play because they're exciting to watch. And so for me,
I like Josh Allen. I think that was asked in our legacy thing.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons is my defensive guy. I love watching him play.
He's
you never know when he's going to pop up
amazing.
And do something. But then on the flip side, I agree 100% because TC gave me so much shit for so long.
He did.
Allen,
he did.
And he's like, when is he thrown for 300? And I'm pretty sure for the next 5 weeks,
he threw for 300 yards. He threw for 400 in one of those games. Oh man, TC. All right, so both Derrick Henry could get the team to the Super Bowl. Yep. Last one. Cash or trash. The Vikings should move on from Kirk Cousins.
Cash.
Hey, look. So here's the thing. Before we had this topic, I went to go look up the money. So I guess they gave him some type of extension. He's not a free agent until 23, but they would lose it's like $17 million or $33 million in dead cap that they would have to do. But
just
suck it up. Cash. It's time, man. Like, look, Kurt.
Well, I remember
I don't have anything nice to say.
Kurt had his signing day, as we'll call it, like when LeBron did it, and he was on the phone. His agent was talking between two teams. It was between the Jets. They offered 23, and the Vikings offered 28. So he went with the Vikings. He got to choose where he wanted to go.
Right.
Zach Wilson is doing great things. I don't say he goes to the Jets, but if Gettleman and the Giants, they're not sure on Danny Dimes.
Here's the thing. Like, if he does get released, don't get me wrong. Kirk Cousins is still a really good quarterback in this league. I will not take that away from him. But it's sometimes, you're going through a couple of years. They did make the playoffs. They did get a playoff victory with Kirk. But sometimes things just don't work out. I mean, and it's okay. It happens. Kurt has always been a solid quarterback in the league, but he'll never be the guy that gets you to a Super Bowl. He'll be a guy to put up numbers. He'll be a guy to get you some wins, keep the franchise, fans happy from time to time.
He don't have that it factor.
He don't have the it factor, and it's okay to be there. I mean, you've been paid good money over the years. So, but I'm cashing this, man. It's time for the Minnesota to move on. As long as they don't get Deshaun Watson, I'm happy.
I just want to know what the hell's going on with the Deshaun. That thing is so.
We've been talking about this for like a year and a half. It feels like
it's just weird the way that they're handling it, because by now, if they had evidence to the contrary that he wasn't guilty, he'd already be serving his time out of the street. But there's not. It don't feel right. Something's off.
Something's off. I feel like that. From what I hear, the last thing I heard is right before the trade deadline. Everybody thought that he was going to Miami. They thought it was signed, sealed, delivered. But the main reason why is because he hadn't reached settlements with the people. And so with 22 people, I still think he's working on settlements. That's what I had. If I had to take a guess, he's probably still working on settlements, trying to get all of these things.
But if you're working settlements, does that mean that they don't have enough proof against you?
That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, because from some of the text messages I saw, bruh, some of those seem like those girls were consenting. Some of them. That's just me. I'm not trying to say that he didn't do it or whatever.
This is something like me and my future father-in-law talked about, because we were talking about that. He's like, things are different now. Because I remember, we used to be able to go to the mall. You see a nice one. Hey, how you doing, girl? Stuff like that.
You do that now, buddy.
No, you go to jail.
You can't do that now.
So everybody needs send. This motherfucker right here needs sensitivity training. I know it. Don't care.
We'll work on the sensitivity training, Jay. We'll work on that.
Good luck, buddy.
All right, everybody. That is it. This is episode 289.
We almost at 300.
We're almost at 300. I start next week will be 10 episodes away. We will be bringing Legacy on Fire back on January 11th, our playoff edition. We're going to do that throughout the playoffs to kind of just break the playoffs down. So Wednesday nights, just be on the lookout for that. We're going to bring you some fire for a couple weeks to try and get y'all ready.
I swear to God, if we don't come up with a different name for the fire pit bullshit, I'm going to leave.
What?
I don't like it. It's dumb.
The fire pit is amazing. I haven't even seen the last couple episodes. If you go back, I didn't even bring it up.
Fire pit.
The fire pit. Yeah, we'll look. I haven't even said it in the last couple of. I've been nice about it. I won't bring it up.
I went to $1.25 tree, and I see that's where you got that buzzer. I was going to buy every single one of those things and throw them in your front yard.
It's like,
yep.
Well, like I said, we're gonna have Legacy on Fire come back, y'all. So be ready for that. Here next couple weeks we'll have it on Wednesday night, start next week throughout the playoffs, and bring you some heat every week with Legacy on Fire.
Heat your meat.
I was talking to DJ yesterday. DJ sitting on the ground. DJ says, Arby's. Arby's. We got the meats. I said, what are you talking about, son?
I love that kid so much.
Oh, man. All right. Look, everybody. Enjoy football. Be a great day for football. We got an hour and 30 minutes before it gets crack-a-lacking, as some people like to say. Enjoy your time today. Enjoy your family. Happy New Year. And just like Jay, I'll let Jay say his, all I can say is day at a time this year. Love everyone. Jay?
Yeah. Love your people. Keep them close, because you never know when they're going to be gone. Everybody, God bless.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all all for tuning in for another episode of the LegacyMaker Sports Podcast. We thank you all for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week for episode 290. Until then, until next time, peace.